Bob Dylan is an American icon. He's an American superhero. This is like a superhero origin story about a real American icon. With a story like this, you do feel an immense amount of responsibility to not it up.
I want to tell you a little story. A few months back, my friend Woody Guthrie and I, we met a young man. He dropped in on us out of nowhere and he played us a song. In that moment, we got a feeling we were getting a glimpse of the future.
Actually, I live in Hoboken, so I live across the street from Little City Books. So when you guys were filming, I was actually able to see your work.
It's a Little City Books. I just love that intersection, and they thought I was crazy for like, wait, we're turning a bookshop into a record store? How's that going to work? But it worked out beautifully, and they were really nice to us. The movie was designed to be made primarily in New Jersey because of the tax incentive, and it was modeled after the success that Steven Spielberg had with West Side Story. I was really inspired by Hoboken and Jersey City. Some of these streets are very well preserved and have very, very similar bones architecturally to what exists across the river. And we were able to have a lot of control and move in for 3 weeks of prep and really engage with the businesses that were there to change the signage and dress the interiors. We did 2 big city block dresses, one in Jersey City for McDougal Street, and that was like a block and a half with 4 interiors. You could shoot in every corner of the entire block. We took over the entire block. Minetta Tavern we recreated Cafe Wall, we recreated Kettle of Fish, which was a very, very famous restaurant. We recreated Cafe Reggio, interior, exterior. The street was completely open during prep and would have these octogenarians stop and go, "Oh my God, I remember, it was just exactly like this back in the 60s. I can't believe it." And they would come back the next day with their kids to show them what New York City looked like back in this. It was very, very endearing to watch. What the long prep helped me do was really start to think about the feeling and the emotional sort of undercurrent, what it would feel like to walk down the streets in McDougal Street. That you had so many huge Mount Rushmore figures who were living there. Painters like Edward Hopper and poets like Allen Ginsberg and of course Bob Dylan, all these folk musicians and everything, and jazz greats, the Blue Note. And they're all in a very small village-like atmosphere, going to the same coffee shops and there's this and it must have been like an incredible experience to walk down those streets, And I wanted to tap into that unique American story of this cultural petri dish of the village and why that happened and how that happened and how it affected Bob Dylan and how Bob Dylan affected the village. It made me sort of long for this world we don't have anymore. And maybe we should, maybe every city should have a village. It would make the world a better place.
Production design, more than I think any other department and element in filmmaking, it's the tactile element. It makes the movie immersive when done well.
Well, that's exactly right. And I think that ultimately what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to help Jim create an emotional response from the audience and to make the audience feel something. That is hard to do and subtle sometimes with the production design and the setting, but there's all sorts of things that you can do that make a set and a setting and a world relatable to the audience and make them feel something. And I think what's really unique about this film is that there's a tactile quality to it. There's all this layering of plausibility and realism and nuance from in our Ariane's like beautiful costumes and in Faden's lighting, and we're all very closely collaborating to create this feeling that you're talking about that is critical to supporting the performances that are happening on screen and making them feel very, very authentic.
In what ways did working on Complete Unknown really, allow you to grow?
I really felt that this experience changed me as a designer because I learned to let go much more and not project my own prejudice into what I thought the movie needed to look like or be. And I let the movie tell me what it wanted to be. One of our first sets was the Seeger cabin, and we had been looking at the black and white photos from the Seeger cabin of family life. And everybody is so passionately involved in this movie. You know, Ed Norton, who plays Pete Seeger, did his own research and went to the Seeger cabin in upstate New York and spoke with Pete Seeger's daughter, let me know that he had red appliances, like red lacquered appliances. The color was called Freedom Red, and it was a joke in the family. That red ended up giving me license to define a palette that incorporated red in different ways, peppered throughout the film because of Ed, you know? The other thing too is that over a 75-day shoot, it's like opening a Broadway show every single day perfectly. I can't go, you know, I need a couple more days or another week to make this better. But you know, that is what I call positive stress, and it motivates you and it keeps you going and it helps drive you. And I have to say that Timmy really set the bar for all of us. He was so completely committed to this project over 5 years and so driven and serious about the work that I think he really inspired us to keep pushing throughout the course of the prep and the shoot to make a great movie. You know, we felt something in the beginning. This was going to be special. It really kept us pushing and never giving up over the course of the thing. You know, we never got complacent or feeling like, you know, it was always true. And I am speaking for Regina, my set decorator, and Thaden and Ariane. I mean, we were all very, very inspired every day by the performances and by Timmy. And it was just really great. I mean, one of the most amazing experiences of my career so far to see this magic happen every day on set. It was really unique and inspiring.